Hey there, hello and welcome. It is Madeline here. I have my corporate friends on the line as usual, and today we are talking about a very important topic. And I want to say I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite topics, but I get to put two of my favorite things together in order to talk about this. So I'm super excited. Thanks for the love. I can't see who you are. If you want to say hello, if you're live or on the replay, type something in the chat. I know which of my corporate friends are on the line with me. So again, today we're talking about how to improve all of your relationships in an instant, right? Instantly. And hey, Ebony, good to see you, beautiful. And for my corporate friends, I think I said something else in the email that I sent you, which was, if people are making you crazy, this is how to turn that around, right? So, but I'm going to proceed with this is going to improve all of your relationships. And I love how the universe works. I had a very similar conversation to what we're going to talk about right now with my client, with a couple of my clients this week. So this is really fun for me when I have evidence, when I get to talk about the evidence of the universe lining everything up for me. So the two favorite things that I get to put together, right, which is the principles of success or the presuppositions of NLP and the 7 spiritual laws of success, which I introduced in the group earlier this week. So last week I posted something about allowing others to be as they are. It was probably Friday, because that's a part of Friday's spiritual law of success, the law of detachment. And one of my friends said, "Oh, Madeline, I would love you to talk more about this," right? And that started the trend. That started the trend for what we're going to talk about today, right? Allowing others to be as they are. And I'm hoping that you're seeing already how this is going to improve your relationships instantly. Although it's not that easy to do, is it? No, that's right. So, and these are a couple of the principles they're my favorites, and my favorite is because they're the most challenging for me and require the most attention, right? The most attention from me. So allowing others to be as they are. How do you do that, right? And so that's where I get to introduce one of the principles of success, right? Or a couple of the principles of success. So a couple of weeks ago, when we talked about how to deal with difficult people, I said, recognize that the other person is you, right? So today, when we're allowing others to be as they are, to be who they are, and also this also pertains to ourselves, but today I want to direct our attention to allowing others to be who they are, that we need to recognize that they are not us, right? They're not us, because often we project our beliefs, our understanding on other people. And this can cause stress, anxiety, distress, and disharmony in our relationships. So when I say recognize that they are not you, what I mean is perception is reality. And although we are all connected and we are all the same at our core, at our spirit, we've all had different experiences. We've all arrived to where we are today on a different path, right? Even if you grew up in the same household with the same parents, you can still be in very different places. So I have a brother, right? I have a younger brother, and although he and I believe a lot of the same things, we're also very different in a lot of ways. And perception is reality explains, I think the easiest way to explain this is that you and I can go to dinner, right? We'll go to the same restaurant, have the same server, order the same appetizer and meals, and hey, Patty, good to see you. It's been a while. Glad you made it. Order the same meal. Essentially, everything is the same, and we can have completely different experiences, can't we? Right? That's because who I am, right? My experiences determine how I see the world, how I experience the world, and your experiences determine how you see the world and how And that's very different, right? That's very different, even if we grew up in the same household or went to the same school or had the same training or work together, right? Because our perception of the details of how life operates or unfolds is very different. So today I want to remind you, right, in order to allow those others to be as they are so you can have beautiful relationships, is recognize that the person is not you, right? Because their perception of reality, their reality is different based on how they perceive things, just like your reality is different based on how you perceive things. And step number 2, right, because you know I always got some steps for my beautiful friends. Step number 2 is respect the other person's model of the world, right? So now we're starting to expand our awareness about how we're different and how this appears and how we deal with each other, how we operate amongst each other, right? That's right. If you have any comments or thoughts, questions, feel free to put them in the chat if you're watching live or even afterwards on the replay, and we can keep the conversation going. So respect the other person's model of the world, okay? So what does that mean? That means that we acknowledge that someone else's perspective, opinion, belief is different from ours, right? And we accept it, right? We accept that it's different from ours, okay? So this doesn't mean that we agree with it or that we have to go along with it. This means that we acknowledge that, okay, that's your belief and this is my belief. They're different. I appreciate that. I respect that. And we proceed from there. So the thought that comes to mind, you know, the immediate example that comes to mind is politics, right? So because a lot of different beliefs and religion, right? So there's a lot of different beliefs about politics and religion, right? So, and if you're in a conversation and an experience with someone whose belief is different from yours, I'm going to use, you know, I have a loved one. I'm not going to say which loved one because then that might give away my political position. And I don't want to do that, right? So I have a loved one who's on the other side of the fence politically than I am, right? So, and if we engage in a political conversation, it gets heated, right? Usually gets heated on the other side. And I'll admit my buttons can get pushed as well. So I choose not to engage in that conversation, right? That's a way that I improved that relationship instantly, right? Because I respect my loved one's position. I acknowledge that it's different from mine. I understand that he is entitled to his position and I am entitled to mine. So in order to have harmony, we don't talk about politics. Now I understand that there are some things that you must talk about, right? Depending on, hey, Kevin, good to see you. It's been a long time, my love. I understand that there are some things that you have to talk about, right? Depending on the relationship, the nature of the relationship and the topic. And that's okay. But when we use these principles to guide us, then we will have better outcomes, right? We'll have more harmony in our communications and in our relationships as a result. So I want to tell you some stories about how this goes wrong, right? And I'm sure that you could tell me some stories about how this goes wrong for you, and then I'm going to tie it back in, okay? So I have a friend of mine, right? I have a friend of mine whose marriage is on the rocks. Okay, her marriage is seriously on the rocks. And a lot of what she says to me, right? I don't allow a lot of complaining, but I let it go far enough so I can determine which way it's going to go, is that she expects her husband to be something that he's not, right? Now, they've been married for about 20 years. And when she first started to tell me, you know, Madeline, my husband does this, my husband does that, or more specifically, you know, can you believe that I came home and I was having a certain kind of day and I came home and I told my husband and he reacted in XYZ manner. But what I really wanted, and can you believe that he didn't say 1, 2, 3? And my response to her was, well, Could you let him know that this is what this is where open communication would come in, which is a topic for another day. But anyway, she was upset that he didn't react, he didn't respond to her in the manner in which she wanted to be, in which she wanted him to respond. So now he's not a mind reader. This is where a communication would come in so she could express to him what it is she needs in the relationship. When I come home and I'm complaining about my day, I would like you to do this, okay? I would like you to just listen, or I'd like you to respond, or whatever the case may be, because he's not her, right? So, but my dear friend couldn't wrap her mind around, he's not me, right? Like, this is the way he should respond. I think he should respond this way to me, and he's not, right? So he loves her dearly. You can see it in his eyes, right? When he looks at her and the way that he deals with her. He loves her dearly, so he needs some guidance in order to do that, right? But it's up to her to recognize that, you know what, he's not me. Not only is he not me, he's not even my gender, right? Which makes him even more different from me, right? Like, he's the masculine, I'm the feminine. That makes us very different. He's not me. How can I make this conversation, how can I make this interaction go more smoothly so that we both get the love and the connection that we want, right? And then in order for her to do that, she needs to respect his model of the world and recognize that perhaps he's the masculine, right, in the relationship, and a masculine energy responds to situations very differently than a feminine energy does. Also another conversation for another day. I also want to tell you about a loved one of mine, another loved one of mine who's an older generation, and he and his brother are not as close as he would like he and his brother to be, because, oh, and this is good, because his brother doesn't respond to him in the manner in which he would like, right? So he'll call, and his brother takes a long time to return his calls, and or he'll stop by, his brother's not home, and he'll leave a message or a note on the door, still doesn't hear from his brother for days. And so I want to share with you, like, there are reasons why his brother operates that way. But my uncle will say to me, oh, so your uncle did blah, 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 blah. Well, I went by that call. It's weeks before I hear from him. I stopped by. He wasn't home. I left a note. He didn't call me. And then he goes on, thanks for the love. And then he goes on to create the story in his mind about why his brother isn't calling him back quickly. And I had this conversation with 2 of my clients this week, and I do it too. Hey, Glenn, good to see you. And I've got to admit, I am, I've been a victim to this as well, but I'd like to say that I recover more quickly. But then we make up these stories in our mind about, like, I called my brother, it's been a week, he hasn't called me back, and he thinks this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. And you have this whole conversation in your mind. When I see him, right, when he does call me, I'm going to tell him, blah, 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 right? Like, what do you mean you haven't called me in weeks, and yada, 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 and who do you think you are? And all these negative reasons as to why your loved one isn't behaving the way you want them to behave, right? As opposed to allowing them to be who they are, right? Allowing them to be who they are and loving and accepting them for who they are and the way that they are. And when you really love them, right, then you want to work, then you're willing to be flexible enough to adapt your model of the world maybe to their model of the world. Actually, just opening up to, they're different from me, right? I wonder why it is they're behaving this way. How can I cultivate a closer relationship instead, right? Based on realizing that this is my story, right? I'm interpreting this situation based on how I see things, right? That may not be how my loved one sees things. That may not be how my coworker sees things, right? That may not be how my friend sees things, or what, whatever the case may be. I hope that makes sense. I think it makes sense. What else did I want to tell you? Okay, so recognize that the other person is not you, right? That they've had different, let me do a quick recap. They've had different experiences that's from you, which means that the reality that they're experiencing today is different from your reality, okay? And then in that interaction, respect their model of the world, right? And that doesn't mean that you agree with it. No, my lovelies. All that means is that you acknowledge this is your model of the world. This is their model of the world, and it's different from mine, okay? And based on that, how do we interact, okay? And based on that, you can also, sometimes differences are so great that you decide not to be in a relationship with these people. And that's okay, right? That's okay. That's also a conversation for another time. But for purposes of people that we do want in our lives, right? They're different from me. They see things differently from me. And how do we move forward from a place of love and respect, right? And that is expanding our awareness to recognize that they're different from us, right? That although we're the same at our core, right? We're all connected spiritually, we've all had different experiences and we're different, right? And how can we expand our awareness to allow for each other's differences? And I'm sure my corporate friends on the line can guess it. I'm sure that a few of you with me can guess it. And step number 3 is meditation, right? So a regular meditation practice is going to allow you to expand your awareness so you're aware enough to have these thought processes when you are in relationship with others, when you are in communication with others, so things can go more smoothly and more lovingly, right? And that you can improve your relationships in an instant. So again, quick recap, and then I'm going to meditate with my corporate friends. If anyone who's watching on the line would like to meditate, I'm going to put there's a conference call and another link in there. If you'd like to join us to meditate, you can do that, and you can meditate with me. We'll have a quick meditation in just a few moments. But otherwise, the quick recap to improve your relationships instantly, right? By allowing the others to be who they are, allowing the other person to be who they are. You do that by recognizing that they're not you. Their experiences are different from yours, which means they see things differently from you. And you respect their model of the world, right? You respect that how they see things are not necessarily how you see that. You acknowledge, you respect it. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with it, but you need to come from that place of understanding in order to have effective communication and harmonious relationship. And you're going to meditate on a regular basis, which means daily, every day, twice a day. I know we're going to talk about that at another time as well, which will allow you to expand your awareness so you're able to implement these practices in your life, right? So if you'd like help with that, right? If your relationships or anything are in trouble and you'd like help with any of the topics that I talk about on a regular basis, I invite you to book a breakthrough call with me, okay? I have a couple of openings over the weekend if you'd like to talk to me, and we'll get clear, right? This call we'll get clear on what's not working in your life, okay? How would you like your life to be? And we'll paint a crystal clear picture of how you would like your life to be. And if I can help you get there, I'll show you how. The call is free. It's my gift to you. And you do that, you book that call by going to MadelineCorrea.com/talk. And I'll put the link in the comments after meditation, okay? So free breakthrough call if you'd like to learn if you'd like my help with implementing these principles in your life. MadelineCorrea.com/talk, and I will look forward to talking with you soon. So, my lovelies, it has been my pleasure to be here with you today and talk about this very important topic. Dial in if you want to meditate with me and my corporate friends. We're going to do that in just a moment, and I will see you in the gap. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video, right? I hope this served you. And I will see you in the next video. I welcome your comments in the meantime. And until then, I will see you in the gap. Namaste. Be blessed. Thank you, Ebony.